Hi, my name's Andrew Warburton. I'm the property advisor. Have you been thinking about flipping or wholesaling property? This video is going to answer the question, how do I avoid flipping scams? And I'm asking you, don't be a sucker. I've learned something over the last 30 years in real estate. There's a way of doing it right, which usually involves quite a lot of hard work. And then there's people who promise you the world and want to sell you a course telling you it's so easy and you're going to be so rich, and they're getting rich off your back. Don't let that happen. Instead, watch this video and find out what are the things to avoid and what are the things to create. What do you avoid and what do you create so that you can become the wholesaler or the investor that you want to be in the business that's called house flipping, that is real and it can change your life. Would you take a moment and just go up to the video down here and subscribe? Because we're going to do videos like this every 2 or 3 days, and I want to be sure that you don't miss out. We teach you how to create wealth. We teach you the facts about the real estate business. I want to be in touch with you. I love your comments. I love it when you like, and I love it when I see you coming back and back and back, asking us what to do next in your real estate life. So let's get down to it. How do I create wealth, and how do I avoid the flipper scams? Let's dig right into it. First of all, I want to encourage you to watch out for the videos, watch out for the books, watch out for the podcasts that charge you at first $9.95, $19.95, $39.95, and the next thing you know, you're being sold a course for $995 or $1,995, being told it's really worth $30,000. Well, I've never paid $30,000 for a course. I've never paid $5,000 for a course because I learned through the School of Hard Knocks. I learned by doing it, not by false promises. So watch out for the wild promises and exaggerated predictions. And I want to dig into one that I was watching this week where somebody was claiming that there's this myriad of foreclosures besieging America, that tens of thousands of people are running into foreclosure. The opportunity is bigger than has ever been before, and all you need to do is sign up for my course, and I'll teach you how to maximize on this. Well, let's just break that down a little bit. Yes, a huge number of people went into forbearance, but the difference between forbearance and foreclosure is the difference between the North Pole and the South Pole. That's how far apart they are. The legislation in between, the unwillingness of people to cooperate, it's a massive, massive difference. So yes, there are people going into forbearance and have gone into forbearance, but the government has regulated that those people cannot be penalized, even their credit penalized, and they're given every opportunity to make remedy with the lender. Does that mean, Andrew, you don't see a flipping opportunity? Of course there is, but it's not because I'm going to say to you, oh, the whole world is collapsing, because the whole world is not collapsing. But within what is happening in America today, there is opportunity for you to flip, and you do not need to pay somebody thousands of dollars to pitch you on what you can learn watching these videos and others like me who just like to educate the public to do what they do. And let me tell you, most people who sell you those huge, huge dollar item programs are making way more money off you than they are off real estate. So why don't you think about that? Second thing, to avoid the flipper scams, avoid wild claims. Here's a wild claim that the seminar circuit has said for years: we can get you properties that nobody else can get you, because we have, and a term that was used for years, we have shadow inventory. We have access to properties nobody else has access to. Usually that screams of scam, because banks have to hold title to hold property. And when they foreclose, they have to hold title. If they hold title, it has to be public record. So you can just go to your title company and say, how many properties does Bank of America own in my county? And they will tell you to the number how many they own, because the bank cannot hold title to that property. They cannot own that property unless they legally hold title to that property. So watch out for wild, wild claims. Here's something that was done a few years ago, and it's called churning. You ever heard of churning? Have you heard of churning? Stay with me on this video because I'm going to make you money and I'm going to save you money. Churning is when an investment group goes into a certain area. This happened a lot in Nevada. It happened a lot in the Midwest. And maybe the aggregate value of the home, 15 years ago was, say, 120K. So you got homes all over the place at 120 and 120 and 120. And you can rent that property out for a certain amount that pays the payment. Okay, that's a good thing. And the investors would go in there, these investment groups would go in there and they would buy the home and they would bring you into a seminar and they would tell you, this is such a killer deal. We just saw a sale at 160 and 155 and 145. Look, you've got $40,000 equity. What they didn't tell you was locals wouldn't pay 160 for that home. Locals wouldn't pay 155 for that home. Locals would only pay 120 for that home. So who bought these homes? The people who bought those homes were the people who came to the seminars in another state who were being pitched that they were worth that amount of money, and that's called churning. So you always have to check if you buy a property out of your geographical area, go to a local realtor, ask the local realtor to run what the sales are, and then do a tax search and see who bought the homes at that price. And if the homes were being bought at that price were by somebody living out of state, and the 6 of them, guess what? That's a neighborhood that's being churned. So watch out for wild claims. Thirdly and finally, and I'm done with the negative side, understand the seminar circuit. There are 3 primary goals of the seminar circuit that you need to understand. Number 1 goal is to make money off you signing up. And usually it's a $199 weekend and it's really worth $25,000. And then you get there and you go through it over the weekend. They tell you, we've got a $100,000 seminar. And if you sign up today, we'll do it for $19,000 and we'll finance it. And all you have to do is give us $5,000 a day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the primary goal of these seminars is not a real estate goal, it's an education goal. And that's where the Ferraris and so on. Maybe the people who did it did sell properties years ago, but if you could do what they do with the president and say, we want to see your tax returns, you would be really surprised to see what percentage comes from real estate currently and what percentage comes from the seminar circuit. Second objective of these seminars, sorry, I'm running out of this ink here. Second objective of these seminars is this. You see in most of these seminars that they say, you don't have to have any money of your own. You don't have to have good credit. Why is that? Because if you find properties that are a deal, the seminar organizer organizes what's called a syndicate. All the people who come to the seminar are asked to fill out a financial form. Then they're given, if they fill out the form, a special meeting with a special counselor. And that counselor sits down and encourages them to move their money out of their 401k into that syndicate's money. And they'll get maybe 7%, 8%, maybe 2% of a flip, a relatively small amount of money, but more than their IRA, so that now the syndicate can use the properties that are found by the seminar attendees and buy them themselves. So the second objective is to find investors who will transfer their money to the syndicate. The third objective of the seminar is to find what we call gophers. That is to get everybody fired up in the room. They paid $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and you're taught how to go out after probates. You're taught how to go out after distressed properties, and that's good. And you go out, but you don't have 2 pennies to rub together. You don't have credit. You don't know what you're doing. All you do is you call your upline when you find a property. You're given some kind of strange, ambiguous contract. You tie up the property, you call your upline. Your upline calls the syndicate. The syndicate says they want it. The syndicate takes the money that investors have put in. They come back to you. They say they'll buy it. They give you a couple of grand for finding it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if you know what you're doing. So I want you to understand, if you're a gopher, know that you're a gopher and give yourself a goal of when you will no longer be just a gopher, but you yourself will become a flipper. So when you're involved in an organization, there's huge benefits of being in an organization because you learn how to do this business. However, what you need to do is know your role so that you can rise up in the organization to go from wholesaling to flipping yourself. So equip yourself and know your role. There's a whole video on this. If you subscribe, I'll send it to you. That tells you how to equip yourself. There's two major hows with equipping yourself. One is marketing. Make sure that you're marketing efficiently so that you become known. And secondly, create for yourself a database of end user investors so that when you do find deals, you yourself can sell that property on to an end user investor. I want you to benefit from flipping. I want you to make money in flipping. I want millions of Americans to learn how to create wealth in real estate. And that's why I'm passionate about avoiding the scams, but making the plans that will create you wealth. Thanks for watching The Property Advisor. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.